Hi there, Science Apprentice. My name is Noemí Durán, and I want to welcome you to Creation Lab. In this 10-video series, we will go over the week of creation and all of the wonderful things that God created for us on each day. Some of the experiments that you will see in this program are dangerous, and you should not try to do them at home. We will mark them with this symbol. For some of the experiments that we will mark with this other symbol, it will be necessary for an adult to be with you to help you with the difficult or dangerous steps. Then God said, "Let us make man in our image according to our likeness." So God created man in his own image. In the image of God he created him. Male and female he created them. We've almost made it to the end of Creation Week. It's Friday afternoon, and God has finished the work on the house of his dreams, the perfect house that he had been planning for a long, long time. But it turns out that the house isn't for him. It's a gift. And finally, the time has come to deliver that gift. After creating the land animals, God did something that he hadn't done all week. Until now, God had created with his voice. Let there be light, and there was light. Let there be a firmament, and it was so. Let the waters join, let there be lights. Let the earth and the water produce animals, and it was so. But this time is different. God does two things that he hadn't done until now. He rolls up the sleeves of his work clothes, and he looks in the mirror, because he's going to create with his own hands two creatures made in his image. The rest of the story you already know. God forms Adam from the clay of the earth. He blows in his nose and gives him life. And then he brings him to all the animals in pairs so that he can name them, and incidentally so that he realizes how lonely he is. And then he puts him to sleep, and he takes out a rib and makes Eve, also with his own hands. And he wakes them up, and they look at each other, and blah, 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 and they were happy. After all, God created them for each other. Our experiment today consists of imitating God and getting our hands dirty to form something very special. To do it, you need cornstarch and 2 plastic containers. We are going to put a package of cornstarch in the container. We're going to add water little by little, and we're going to mix it into a dough. We will continue adding water until we get the consistency of paint. This experiment requires patience because you have to stir the dough very slowly. What's so special about this dough? Well, it acts like a living being, like a person or an animal. Normally it's a liquid. And if you treat it nicely and you caress it slowly, you can put your hand inside and reach the bottom. But what happens when you treat it violently? It gets hard and it doesn't let you pass the surface. Here we can see that it's a liquid. We're going to hit it a little bit harder with a hammer. If you want, you can make a larger amount and play with it. For example, you can try to make balls. If you move them quickly, you can keep them in your hands, but when you release them, they return to the container. Seeing me like this reminds me of what we were talking about when God got his hands dirty. God created Adam and Eve for them to live happily in an environment full of love. But they decided to go on their own. And because of sin, life started to hit them from all sides. Since then, people have lived in an environment full of violence, And this has made some of them so hardened that they act like stone. What's happened here? The substance that we've created is what chemists call a non-Newtonian fluid. What makes it special is that its behavior depends on external circumstances. Normally, it's a dense liquid, but if you apply a sudden force, it becomes more viscous and acts like a solid. Why does the mix of cornstarch and water act like this? Actually, cornstarch doesn't dissolve well in water because the cornstarch molecules are so large and elongated. When we slowly move the mix, the molecules slip and slide, but when we hit it, they remain fixed, and together they harden. What did we learn today? That God created human beings, male and female, on the 6th day of Creation Week. That He made them with His own hands and in His image because they were special. And He gave them everything that He had created before. That people turn hard when they are treated with violence. But when we treat others with love is when we can reach their hearts. Sometimes we may think that there are people who are so harsh, violent, and bad that they have no solution. But the Bible says that if they want, God will help them change. I will give you a new heart and put a new spirit within you. I will remove your heart of stone and give you a heart of flesh. And that's it for today's program. But remember, we're not done yet. A good scientist is never satisfied with just seeing how others do things. They have to try it for themselves. So now it's your turn to put on your lab coat, your safety glasses, and your gloves, and do the experiment at home. And don't forget to ask for permission and take all necessary precautions. See you next time.